The day began like any other. The sun rose over the horizon, casting a warm glow across the bustling cities of Earth. People hurried to work, children laughed and played in the streets, and families enjoyed their breakfast together. But in the shadows of space, a dark force was preparing for an attack that would change everything. High above Earth, the Tarlaxians, a powerful alien race, had set their sights on the planet. They had been watching humanity for years, studying their weaknesses and plotting their invasion. The Tarlaxians were fierce warriors, equipped with advanced technology and weapons far beyond anything humans could imagine. As they approached Earth, their fleet of massive warships filled the sky, blocking out the sun and casting a terrifying shadow over the planet. In a matter of hours, the invasion began. Tarlaxian ships unleashed devastating energy blasts on major cities. The blasts exploded with blinding light and thunderous noise. Buildings crumbled and fires erupted everywhere. Panic spread as people realized what was happening. The sounds of sirens filled the air as emergency services rushed to help. But it was too late. The aliens were too powerful. In the heart of the chaos, Commander James Reed watched from a command center deep underground. He had spent years preparing for this day, training soldiers and developing strategies to defend Earth. He had always known that an alien invasion was possible, but nothing could have prepared him for the reality of what was happening. As he monitored the attacks, his heart sank. His team was losing contact with their units across the globe. "Commander, we need to respond," one of his officers shouted. "We can't let them destroy everything." Reed nodded, his mind racing. He knew the Tarlaxians had superior technology, but he also knew that humans were resilient and resourceful. "Get the fighter jets ready! We will show them we will not go down without a fight," he commanded. As the jets soared into the sky, Reed watched the screens. The brave pilots engaged the alien ships, firing missiles and lasers. For a moment, it seemed like humanity might have a chance. But the Tarlaxians were relentless. They easily shot down fighter after fighter, their ships swarming like angry hornets. One by one, Reed's hopes faded as he watched his fellow soldiers fall. The attacks continued throughout the day and into the night. The cities that had once been filled with life were now engulfed in flames and despair. Reed could hardly believe what he was seeing. Each explosion felt like a blow to his heart. He thought of his family, his friends, and all the people he cared about. He couldn't let them down. But no matter how hard they fought, the aliens kept coming. As the sun set, the world looked like a nightmare. The sky was darkened by smoke and debris. The screams of the innocent echoed through the air, and Reed felt a heavy weight of hopelessness settle on his shoulders. It seemed as though the end was near. Then, in the chaos, an alarm sounded in the command center. Reed turned to his team, confused. "What is that?" he asked. "Sir, we're receiving a signal from the cryo facilities," an officer shouted. "The automated systems are activating!" Reed's eyes widened. He remembered the super soldiers, the last line of defense hidden deep beneath the earth. They were humanity's best hope, frozen and waiting for the moment they were needed. He quickly made a decision. "Activate the thawing process. We need them now!" As the cryo facilities came to life, machines whirred and hummed, working to awaken the super soldiers. Each soldier had been specially designed to be stronger, faster, and smarter than any ordinary human. They were humanity's final chance against the Tarlaxians. But would they be enough? As the soldiers slowly began to awaken from their long sleep, Commander Reed held his breath. Time was running out, and Earth was on the brink of destruction. Would these super soldiers be able to save humanity, or would they arrive too late? The fate of the world hung in the balance, and the fight for survival was just beginning. The hum of machines filled the air as the cryo facility came to life. Rows of glass tubes lined the cold, metallic walls, each containing a super soldier, frozen in time. Commander James Reed stood in front of the control panel, his heart pounding with anticipation. He had spent years training these soldiers, preparing them for a moment like this, and now that moment had finally arrived. As the thawing process began, the glass tubes slowly fogged up. The lights inside flickered, and a soft beeping echoed in the room. Reed watched closely, hoping that these warriors would be as powerful as he remembered. He had no idea how long they had been asleep, or how they would react to the devastation outside. "Aliens have invaded Earth," Reed explained urgently. "They are destroying everything. We need your help to fight back." Lara's expression changed from confusion to determination. "Let's take them down," she replied, ready for action. She glanced at the other tubes, eager to see her teammates. One by one, the tubes opened, and more super soldiers emerged. Corporal Marco, tall and muscular, was the next to awaken. He stretched his arms and cracked his neck. "Feels good to be out of that thing," he joked. But his smile faded when he heard the news. "Aliens? Seriously?" Reed nodded. "They've taken over most of the planet. We need you all to get ready." As the soldiers gathered around Reed, their eyes were filled with the fire of determination. Each of them had been enhanced with the best technology and training. They were stronger, faster, and smarter than any human could be. But they were also human, and their memories of the world they had lost flooded back. Lieutenant Kim, a sharp strategist with a quick mind, was next to join the group. "How many civilians are left?" she asked, her tone serious. "We can't let them destroy more lives." Reed shook his head. "We don't know, but the Tarlaxians are relentless. If we don't act fast, they will wipe out anyone left." The group looked at one another, the weight of the situation sinking in. They were not just soldiers. They were the last hope for humanity. They had a mission, and it was time to take action. "Gather your gear," Reed commanded. "We need weapons, armor, and a plan. We are going to hit them where it hurts." As they prepared, Reed could see the fire in their eyes. They were ready to fight, to reclaim their world. Each soldier picked up advanced weapons designed for them: energy rifles, explosive grenades, and armor that enhanced their strength and agility. They were no longer just soldiers. They were humanity's ultimate weapon. Once fully equipped, they gathered around Reed for one last briefing. "We will strike at night," he said. "We'll use the element of surprise to our advantage. Our first target is a Tarlaxian supply base near what was once New York City. If we can cut off their resources, we can slow their advance." The soldiers nodded, their faces set with determination. They were ready for battle. As they made their way to the surface, the reality of the destruction hit them hard. The world outside was unrecognizable. Buildings lay in ruins, and fires still burned brightly. Smoke filled the air, and the distant sounds of chaos echoed around them. It was a battlefield, and their hearts ached for the lives lost. But they could not let fear stop them. With a shared sense of purpose, they moved through the ruins, their enhanced abilities allowing them to navigate the dangerous terrain with ease. They were warriors, and they would avenge their fallen friends and family. Finally, they reached the Tarlaxian base, hidden in the shadows of a crumbled skyscraper. The base was heavily guarded, with alien soldiers patrolling the area. Reed signaled his team to take positions. "On my mark," he whispered. 3, 2, 1. Go! The soldiers charged forward, their hearts pounding with adrenaline. This was their moment. They were not just fighting for revenge, they were fighting for humanity's future. With their powers and training, they would show the Tarlaxians that they had underestimated the strength of the human spirit. The battle for Earth had only just begun. The night was dark, but the air buzzed with energy as Commander James Reed and his team of super soldiers prepared for their first attack. They hid behind the ruins of a collapsed building, their breaths steady and focused. The Tarlaxian supply base loomed in front of them, heavily guarded and filled with dangerous aliens. But the humans had a plan, and they were ready to execute it. "Listen up," Reed said, lowering his voice. "This is our first strike. We need to take out the guards quietly before we move in. Lara, you and Marco will create a distraction on the east side. Kim and I will take out the guards on the west." Lara nodded, her eyes shining with excitement. "I'm ready. Let's show them what we can do." With the plan set, the team split into two groups. Reed and Kim crept toward the western perimeter, staying low and silent. They could see Tarlaxian guards patrolling the area, their alien features illuminated by the eerie glow of the base's lights. Each guard carried a strange-looking weapon, ready for anything. On the other side, Lara and Marco moved swiftly. They had decided to create a loud diversion that would draw the guards' attention away from Reed and Kim. Lara tossed a small explosive device they had built, and it landed with a loud bang. Smoke erupted, filling the air with confusion and chaos. "Go, go, go!" Lara shouted, charging toward the guards as they turned to see what was happening. Marco followed closely, his weapon raised and ready. Together, they took down the stunned guards one by one, their movements swift and practiced. Meanwhile, Reed and Kim moved quickly to take out the guards on their side. They worked in perfect sync, using hand signals to communicate. As one guard turned, Kim took her chance. She leaped forward, catching the alien by surprise and swiftly disarming him. Reed followed, subduing another guard before he could raise the alarm. With the guards down, Reed signaled for the team to regroup. They moved quickly into the supply base, where crates stacked high held valuable resources. "This is it," Reed said, scanning the area. "We need to destroy their supplies and make a statement." The team set to work. Marco placed explosives on the crates, while Lara kept watch at the entrance. Kim, using her quick thinking, hacked into the base's computer system, searching for valuable information about the Tarlaxians' operations. Reed stood guard, his senses alert for any approaching threats. Come on," Kim muttered as she typed furiously. "There has to be something useful here." Suddenly, the screen lit up with a map of the surrounding area. "Got it! I found their main base of operations. It's only a few miles from here," she exclaimed. "Perfect. Let's destroy these supplies and move," Reed urged. "We don't have much time." Just as they were about to set the final explosives, an alarm blared throughout the base. Red lights flashed, and the sound of alien voices echoed in the distance. "The Tarlaxians were coming! Move, move, move!" Reed shouted, his heart racing. They quickly placed the last explosives and sprinted toward the exit. But as they reached the entrance, they found themselves face to face with a group of armed Tarlaxians, their eyes filled with anger and confusion. Without hesitation, Lara fired her weapon, taking down the closest alien. Marco followed suit, but more guards appeared from the shadows. The team fought bravely, using their training and teamwork to overcome the odds. Reed's heart pounded as he fired at the aliens. He could feel the adrenaline coursing through his veins. They couldn't let the Tarlaxians win. They had to escape and regroup. "To the left! We'll make our way around!" he yelled, guiding the team through the chaos. They dashed through the debris, dodging blasts of energy and returning fire. The sound of battle filled the air, but they pushed forward, determined to survive. Finally, they reached a clearing outside the base. Reed glanced back at the supply base as the explosions erupted behind them, flames licking up into the night sky. The Tarlaxians were stunned, and the destruction sent a clear message. Humanity was fighting back. "We did it!" Kim shouted, her eyes wide with excitement. "We made our point," Reed said, breathing heavily. "But this is just the beginning. We've shown them we're not afraid." The soldiers looked at one another, their spirits high. They knew the war was far from over, but they had taken a significant step. Guerrilla warfare had begun, and they were ready to continue the fight against the Tarlaxians. They would reclaim their world, one battle at a time. After their successful attack on the Tarlaxian supply base, Commander James Reed and his team of super soldiers regrouped in an abandoned building on the outskirts of what was once New York City. The atmosphere was tense but charged with excitement. They had dealt a significant blow to the alien forces, but they needed more information to plan their next move. Reed sat at a makeshift table with Kim, poring over the data they had retrieved from the base's computer system. The screen flickered as Kim scrolled through files, searching for anything that could give them an advantage. "Here!" Kim exclaimed, pointing to a series of documents. These files detail the Tarlaxian hierarchy and their weaknesses. They have specific areas on their ships that are less armored. If we can hit those spots, we can deal serious damage. Lara, Marco, and the rest of the team gathered around to see what Kim had found. The glow of the screen illuminated their faces, and hope filled the room. "This is great," Marco said, grinning. "If we can find one of their ships, we can take it down and use it against them." Reed nodded. "But we need to be careful. We don't know how many aliens will be guarding their ships or what defenses they have. We have to strike at the right time and place." Lara leaned closer to the screen. "What about this?" she said, pointing at a map. "This shows where their ships are docked. It's not far from here, and it looks like they are preparing for something big." "Then that's where we'll go," Reed said, determination in his voice. "We need to act fast. If we wait too long, they might reinforce their defenses." The team quickly gathered their gear, excitement pulsing through their veins. They had a plan and a chance to turn the tide of the war. As they moved through the darkened streets, the ruins of the city surrounded them, a reminder of the destruction the Tarlaxians had caused. They arrived at the Tarlaxian docking area, where several ships were moored, shimmering ominously in the moonlight. Reed signaled for the team to halt. "Remember the plan. We'll split into two groups again. Marco, Lara, and Kim will take the left flank. I'll take the right with the rest of the team." The soldiers nodded, their expressions serious. They knew this was a crucial moment. With a shared sense of purpose, they moved into position, keeping low and silent. As they approached the ships, they could see the Tarlaxians bustling about, their alien forms moving swiftly. The team's hearts raced as they spotted a heavily armored ship at the center of the docking area. "That's it!" Reed whispered. "We need to take it down." Just as they were about to advance, a sudden noise broke the silence. An alarm blared and lights flooded the area. Tarlaxians rushed to their posts, weapons raised. The team had been discovered. "Now or never," Reed shouted. "Let's move!" The soldiers sprang into action. Lara and Marco opened fire, targeting the nearest guards while Kim provided cover. Reed led his team toward the armored ship, their adrenaline pushing them forward despite the chaos around them. They fought fiercely, their training kicking in as they moved together like a well-oiled machine. Reed spotted a group of Tarlaxians heading toward them, and he took aim. "Cover me!" he yelled, charging forward. As he got closer to the ship, he remembered Kim's words about their weaknesses. He quickly scanned the hull, searching for the less armored areas. Just as he found a spot, an alien soldier lunged at him. Reed dodged, firing his weapon and taking the alien down. With a few quick movements, he reached the vulnerable area of the ship. He planted explosives and rushed back to his team. "Get ready!" he shouted as he set the timer. The team continued to fight off the Tarlaxian guards, but they could feel the pressure mounting. The aliens were relentless, and more were coming from all directions. 5 seconds! Reed yelled, adrenaline pumping through him. "Let's move!" Lara shouted, grabbing Marco and Kim. They sprinted away from the ship, their hearts racing. The explosion rocked the area as they dove behind cover. The armored ship erupted in a brilliant fireball, and debris flew everywhere. The shockwave knocked several Tarlaxians off their feet, giving the humans a crucial opening. "Now's our chance," Reed urged. They pressed forward, exploiting the confusion and fear that the explosion had caused. The Tarlaxians were scrambling, and the super soldiers took advantage of the chaos. As they pushed through the remaining guards, Reed couldn't help but feel a rush of hope. They had discovered a weakness in the Tarlaxians' defenses, and it was a game-changer. With their new knowledge, they could fight back more effectively and reclaim their world. The team moved quickly, taking down the remaining guards with renewed determination. They knew the fight was far from over, but for the first time they felt they had a fighting chance. Humanity's strength and resilience shone through the darkness, and they were ready for whatever came next. The sun began to rise, casting a golden light over the ruins of what was once a bustling city. Commander James Reed and his team of super soldiers stood atop a hill, overlooking the remnants of the Tarlaxian base they had just destroyed. The fire still smoldered, a sign of their successful attack, but there was no time to celebrate. The war was far from over. Reed turned to his team, determination in his eyes. "This is just the beginning. We have the upper hand now, but we need to keep pushing. The Tarlaxians will retaliate. We need to be ready." Lara nodded, her expression fierce. "They've taken everything from us. It's time to make them pay." Marco, adjusting his gear, added, "We've learned their weaknesses. We can use that to strike hard and fast." Kim, who had been studying the maps they had gathered, spoke up. "There's a larger Tarlaxian base not far from here. It's heavily guarded, but if we can get in, we can deal a decisive blow." Reed looked at the team, sensing their resolve. "Then that's our target. We'll gather intel, strike at night, and take them by surprise. They won't see us coming." As they moved out, a sense of purpose filled the air. The team navigated through the shattered streets, their minds focused on the mission ahead. The destruction around them was a painful reminder of the lives lost, but it fueled their determination to fight back. That night, under the cover of darkness, the team approached the Tarlaxian base. Reed led them through the shadows, their movements silent and calculated. They set up in a hidden position, observing the guards and patrol patterns. "This is it," Reed whispered, his heart racing. "Lara and Marco, you'll create a diversion on the east side. Kim and I will take out the guards on the west and move in. Let's make it count." The team split up, their hearts pounding in sync with the plan. As Lara and Marco moved into position, they activated a small device that sent loud noises echoing through the night. The guards turned, confused and alarmed, rushing toward the sound. "Now!" Reed shouted. He and Kim darted toward the west side, taking advantage of the chaos. They moved quickly, taking down guards silently and efficiently. The element of surprise was theirs. and they knew they had to capitalize on it. Inside the base, they found a command center buzzing with activity. Reed spotted a control panel filled with information about the Tarlaxians' plans. "This could change everything," he said to Kim, who was already typing rapidly. "We need to shut down their defenses and gather whatever intel we can," Kim replied, her fingers flying over the keys. Outside, Lara and Marco fought fiercely, taking down Tarlaxians who had been caught off guard. They moved with a sense of purpose, each strike a step closer to revenge for their fallen brothers and sisters. As Reed and Kim worked, the alarms began to blare. The Tarlaxians were on high alert, scrambling to respond to the attack. Reed's heart raced, knowing they needed to finish their task quickly. "Almost there!" Kim shouted, her eyes focused on the screen. "I'm downloading their plans now." Just then, a group of Tarlaxians burst into the command center. Reed grabbed his weapon, ready to fight. "We can't let them stop us!" With Kim's quick thinking and skills, they managed to take down the incoming aliens. The sound of blaster fire filled the room, but they held their ground. "Got it!" Kim yelled triumphantly as the screen flashed with the downloaded intel. "Let's go!" They sprinted out of the command center, regrouping with Lara and Marco. The team fought their way through the base, determined to escape with their lives and the valuable information they had gathered. As they reached the exit, a massive Tarlaxian soldier appeared, blocking their path. Its eyes glowed with fury as it raised its weapon. Reed felt a surge of fear, but he pushed it aside. This was the moment they had trained for. "Together!" Reed shouted, and the team charged at the alien. They moved in sync, using their skills and teamwork to overwhelm the Tarlaxian soldier. With a final blow, they brought it down, pushing through the exit just as the alarms reached a deafening pitch. Outside, they could see the chaos unfolding as their diversion had worked. Tarlaxians were in disarray, struggling to respond to the unexpected attack. Reed turned to his team, adrenaline coursing through his veins. "We did it! We've struck a blow to their forces, and now we have their plans. This is our chance for revenge." The soldiers exchanged glances, each one filled with determination and hope. They had reclaimed their strength, and the fire of revenge burned brightly in their hearts. As they disappeared into the night, the super soldiers knew they would continue to fight for humanity's survival. They were ready to bring down the Tarlaxians, and nothing would stand in their way. The time for revenge had come, and they would not rest until their world was free again.